Most people think the biggest mistake you can make in your 20s is not working hard enough. I think it's the opposite. It's working so hard in the wrong direction that you wake up at 32 exhausted, successful on paper and completely lost. There are two types of people I see in their 20s. The first type has a plan. Law school, Goldman Sachs, 6 figures by 28, doctor, lawyer, whatever their parents dreamed for them. And they execute perfectly. No detours, no fun, just the track. And look, some of them make it. But a lot of them burn out. Because the plan was never actually theirs. It was borrowed. And borrowed plans have an expiration date. The second type? They try everything. 3 months in Europe, a podcast, van life, a restaurant, a drop shipping store, a novel they never finish. They collect experiences like trophies, and then they turn 30, and they haven't built one solid skill, not one. They're still figuring out who they are, and that pattern? It doesn't stop at 30. That becomes their whole life. One person burns out. The other wanders forever. And almost nobody talks about the third option. What I want to give you today is something that sounds almost too simple, but I promise you, most people never actually do it. You need 2 tracks running at the same time. Not 1, not 5, 2. Track 1 is your direction, the thing you're wired for. Music, technology, business, writing, building things, working with people. You probably already know what it is, deep down. You just haven't committed to it yet. Because committing feels scary. It feels like closing doors. Track 2 is your adventure, the things you try, the places you go, the risks you take, the failures you collect, the people you meet at 2 a.m. in a city you've never been to before. Here's what most people miss. Those 2 tracks don't compete with each other. They feed each other. Every adventure you go on, everything you try, if you're paying attention, it's teaching you something. Something that feeds directly into the thing you're building. The direction gives your adventures meaning. The adventures give your direction depth. That's the 2-track life. Let me be clear about something. You are young right now. This is not forever. The freedom you have at 22 or 24 to pick up and go, to try something completely different, to fail without it destroying you, that window is real. And it doesn't stay open forever. So use it. Try the thing that scares you. Move to the city. Start the project. Say yes to things you're slightly underqualified for. Take the job that pays less but teaches more. Travel somewhere you don't speak the language. Be a beginner at something. This isn't irresponsibility. This is research. You're learning what you're made of. You're finding out what actually excites you, not what should excite you, not what looks good on LinkedIn, what actually gets you out of bed at 6 a.m. without an alarm. That information is gold. Most people never find it because they never looked. But, and this is the part people skip, you need a thread. You need to know, somewhere underneath all the experimenting, what direction you're headed. Not a specific job title. Not a 5-year plan. Just a North Star. A category. A type of thing that you know, in your gut, connects to who you are. Maybe it's creativity. Maybe it's technology. Maybe it's helping people. Maybe it's building systems. Maybe it's words. Maybe it's physical things, making them, fixing them, designing them. When you have that, every adventure becomes useful. You're not just traveling, you're gathering material. You're not just working a random job, you're learning how businesses operate. You're not just starting that podcast that maybe goes nowhere. You're learning how to communicate, how to build an audience, how to put ideas into words. The difference between wandering and exploring is knowing what you're looking for. I want you to imagine something. You wake up on your 30th birthday and you look back at your 20s and you see both. You see the trip that changed how you see the world, the relationship that broke you open, the business you started that failed, and what you learned from it. The skill you built slowly, quietly, for years, while everyone else was distracted. And you sit up in bed, and you think, okay, now I know exactly what I want to build. Now I know exactly what I have to say. Now I'm ready. That's not luck. That's not talent. That's what happens when you give your 20s both freedom and focus at the same time. That's the two-track life. So here's what I want to ask you, and actually sit with this before you scroll. What is the thing you're wired for? Not what pays the most, not what your parents would be proud of, not what your friends are doing. What is the thread that runs through everything you actually love, that you keep coming back to, even when you try to ignore it? Drop it in the comments. Seriously, I read every one. And sometimes just writing it down, out loud, to a stranger, is the first step to actually committing to it. Your 20s aren't a waiting room. They're the work.